Hello everybody, I'm Krasi, and today I will talk about the conjunction between Saturn and Pluto, which will take place in sidereal Sagittarius on 10th, 11th of January 2020. Many people are too worried about this conjunction. It is a serious conjunction indeed, but I will tell you that you are already familiar with these energies because since the moment when Saturn entered sidereal Sagittarius, and this was November 2017, he already joined Pluto because Pluto was in the same sign. This way they formed conjunction by sign, and this is already the start of the exchange of energies between Saturn and Pluto. So yes, we will feel this in a more intense and a powerful way in January, but this conjunction is a fact. So whatever is happening right now in your life, especially if you having sidereal Sagittarius on a key position, or on your ascendant, or on your descendant, or on your midheaven, or moon there, or sun there, you certainly already know what this conjunction will mean for you. Now, of course, I will make now an overview of how I see this conjunction to manifest for us, but later on I will also briefly give you my analysis ascendant per ascendant, how this will influence the 12 ascendants. But I'm telling you, we are already into this. This conjunction, of course, with different, the energies will be a little bit different though in January, because also in January, when the exact conjunction, a meeting between the two planets, Saturn and Pluto, will take place, Saturn will be invisible. This way, indeed, the energies will be a little bit different, and I'll explain you what it means. But whatever you're going through right now, think of your reality, think what is happening, think of some restrictions, think of some difficult events, or some which look restrictive right now, but will result in some very good events in the future. Think about this and note that you're already into this. We're all already into this on mundane level. Before I continue, I want to tell you something very, very, very important. Everything difficult, good, bad, which is happening for us is, of course, first appearing on the sky, then it's happening on earth. But this is all perfect because it comes with the permission or with the approval of the creator, of God, of the universe. So this way, this is just the will of God. So it will certainly lead to some good results afterwards, even though we may go through some periods of restrictions. Now, let me tell you something before I talk in detail about this conjunction. Such conjunction we had in 1982, and during that time, Saturn was not invisible, but there were particular events that I will name, and then you will have idea what this conjunction looks like. Then before that, in 1947, we had another similar conjunction happening in sidereal Cancer, while Saturn was also invisible. So we can easily make comparison and draw our conclusions based on the events which happened back then in 1947 in Saturn-Pluto meeting together in the sign of sidereal Cancer, and then back in 1982 when Saturn and Pluto met in sidereal Libra, but this time Saturn was not invisible, so his actions were kind of evident. They didn't happen on a secretive way, on a hidden way, which would result later on in events. So first of all, before we go into specific details, let me tell you something. Of course, there is no evidence in the ancient literature on Saturn-Pluto conjunction, because the ancients wouldn't mention Pluto, not because they didn't know if in Babylon they knew everything. They knew about Pluto, they knew about Neptune, but there was a particular reason why these planets were not stated in any cuneiform tablet text. And there is particular reason that I think have some ideas about, but I'm not sure yet. However, this is not the point. The point is that there is enough information in ancient texts on the meaning of Mars-Saturn conjunction, beautiful outer state, and analyze in many different ways this conjunction. And Pluto-Saturn conjunction has some similarities with Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Therefore, we can draw from there. And I can tell you that in most of the texts, of course, this is explosive. It can't be easy. It has, though, some very practical aspects, like imagine the diurnal planet Saturn, which is about restriction, organization, which is about structure, time orientation, moral values, is meeting the planet which is ruling the sign of Scorpio, the 8th house, the house of transformation. I don't like the word transformation, it's very much overused, but the sign which is about that, which is about rebirth, which is about hidden things, which is about magic, which is about many, many things that are not always seen on the surface, but the sign of the netherworld, if you want. And Mars, Nergal, is also the god of the netherworld. Mars rules Scorpio as a co-ruler with Pluto. Pluto is also ruler of the netherworld. Pluto is about what is happening under the surface, what is happening under also deep in our souls. Pluto is about what is hidden, what is secretive. Saturn as well is about agriculture, architecture, ancient history, ancient knowledge, ancient sciences, but Saturn is much more predictive than Pluto. With Pluto, we don't know much. We are not sure how explosive, how far this can go. Now, interestingly, these are two planets somehow with similarities, because they're both about deep, ancient, and they're both very, very mysterious, because Saturn can also reveal to you ancient mysteries and can be very, very, very deep and interesting. And if you're interested, for example, in ancient studies, it is partially due to the placement of the Saturn in your chart. So all this ancient wisdom and karmic lessons come via both Saturn and Pluto. Both have to do with agriculture. Both have to do with architecture in a way. And now what is happening? Saturn is a daily diurnal planet, and Pluto is definitely a nocturnal planet. And when they meet, this is not very harmonious, not very harmonious because of their natures. But somehow they are also related. So I am not really sure that this is going to be that bad, because both are about power. And also there is some evidence that Pluto, if he was represented in ancient Babylon by Gaga, then he's a son of Saturn. So in a way, they also have some similarities. So even though they rule different signs of different sects, diurnal, nocturnal, even though they both about a powerful rulership, somehow they are not that bad together. And they are meeting, by the way, together. This conjunction is taking place in the term of Mars, which term is very friendly to Pluto. But Pluto cannot be very, very happy in the sign of Sagittarius, because Pluto is a nocturnal planet in the sign of Sagittarius. He's totally against his nature. So Pluto is not that bad according to the term, but Saturn is not very pleased in the term of Mars. But somehow this term of Mars, which is friendly to Pluto, and the diurnal sign of Sagittarius, which is friendly to Saturn, I believe there is some positivity in this, and in this regard, this conjunction can be also very strategic and very, very practical. However, I will tell you that when such great planets of secrecy, of ancient karma, of ancient wisdom meet together, during such moments, people that will be born and that would have this on a key position, they can be very can have certain powers of rulership, not necessarily good and not necessarily positive. However, you see in how many years, more than 30 years time, such conjunction is taking place. So we look at this from many perspectives in order to get the essence of the energies, and they're not necessarily bad, and they will not necessarily be bad for people who are already kind of adjusting themselves to these energies and who are really connected with the spirit world, who are aiming to connect with the universe and God. In this way, this conjunction can also be very useful because it's about depth, enormous depth. So so this was just to orient you. But what is happening when Saturn goes invisible? Now, what is the Saturn to be invisible? It means that he's just hidden in the rays of the sun. He's too near the sun and he's hidden. It's like at this very moment when we try to detect Saturn on the sky, we will not be able to. Neither we would see Pluto because he's too far. But Saturn is definitely invisible. So they're both invisible. They will both act on a very secretive, unpredictable level, not like what we know that have happened in 1982. And I'm going to tell you now what happened in 92. I'm reading from my notes because I made some research on the events that took place around that time. Excuse me. So look what happened in 1982. First, we're having the invasion of Israel over Lebanon. Evident, clear action, invasion, not friendly, warlike action, but evident, visible, because Saturn was also visible at that time. And then we're having Argentina, which invades the Falkland Islands, and Argentina and the UK go to war over a small island thousands of miles away. Then we're having other interesting events, terrorism. Then we're having disease. Dutch elm disease destroys millions of elm trees. And then we're having the biggest robbery in the world when a money car was robbed, and the amount was huge. I don't remember it anymore. And then it's having then these are the most another terrorist acts we're having. But Leonid Brezhnev dies, and the Russian minister president at that time in 1982. But look what is happening. We're having two major warlike hostile invasions, which are evident hostility, which is very typical when you have Mars-Saturn conjunction, or Mars-Saturn square, or Pluto-Saturn, obviously, conjunction or square. So, and then we're having a huge change in the model of how people use technology, buying habits. All this is also taking place. And then I'm telling you what happened in 1947 when the very same conjunction happened, but where? In the sign of Cancer, and Saturn was invisible. So what happened is that first of all, the UFO incident of Roswell. So Roswell, which was up until now remained famous, happened. Remember, Saturn was invisible, and we never know how this developed. And most of the information around this UFO incident remains secretive. So then you have beginning of Cold War. But what is the Cold War? Something that did not take place evidently. It is a Cold War because it was a war of diplomacy and a war with hidden means. Remember, once again, Saturn was invisible. And then I'm continuing with the events, some of which are very, very interesting. And now the most important event, International Monetary Fund begins. Hidden information. This is a kind of this is organization which was the starting of the globalization. It is a plan which was the starting of the control of people in society. Remember again, Saturn was invisible. And then you're having 29 countries who signed, and I'm reading here the list of countries, doesn't matter, many countries, but it is a change that is overseeing the international monetary system of exchange rates and international payments, starting of what we know now to take place. What is taking place now? Look at the changes around yourself. Look what is happening with control of the payments, control of media, control of your voice. And this started back then in 1947 and even before that. But I just followed these two years of significant Saturn-Pluto conjunction. What happened? We had a very similar thing, like this, the basement, the fundaments of what is taking now place with the control system over people and their money and their funds was the fundaments were laid back in 1947, while the very same conjunction took place in the very stormy sign of Cancer, more friendly to Pluto than to Saturn, of course. And then you're having, during this year, we do not see that many events related to terrorism, but the United States Armed Force insist some surveillance, balloon, but this is not so significant. But very interesting is that there is not so much terrorism as actions which aim at what we see now to be taking place. Pluto Saturn conjunction, when Saturn is invisible, secretive actions of governments which are not necessarily in interest of people. And see, 1947 and 1982, and 1982 is quite different because at that moment, as I told you, Saturn was visible and the actions were more visible also to us, like we would see what the governments are doing, we would see what the terrorist events and so forth and so on. So the ancient authors would say in some texts which I looked at when preparing for this analysis, the ancient authors would say that oftentimes when Saturn and Pluto are together in a birth chart, this is a sign of poverty, and often poverty of the father or issues with the father figure. So this is certainly going to it's not going to be positive for the markets, for the incomes. This can be reason for poverty. This can be a reason for losses. This can be reason for hidden operations which will take place behind our backs and can strengthen even more the control system and the control over media, the control over speech, and just name it. And but this is something you know already. This is something that especially was strengthened since November 2017, after Saturn entered the sign of Sagittarius to meet their Pluto. Interestingly, I will tell you also another thing. During this conjunction, of course, we know there is Ketu, the lunar node, who is having even very interesting role there to you know, wherever Ketu is, his role is also a little bit limiting, and this is also not very easy. It's not adding up a lot of positivity there. Jupiter at this very moment will be invisible. So even though he's helpful in a way, because this is the helping hand of some justice or some support from the most wonderful planet in the solar system, Jupiter, still he's invisible during this very moment, and but is becoming visible a few days after, but still this is a helping hand. So I hope that the bad and the evil plans and actions will not go that far. Apart from this, I will tell you that Saturn enters Capricorn, and also in also end of January 2020, and Jupiter is in his own sign. And with this, the world will be changed, and I hope for good. And again, I will remind you of when Saturn entered his own sign was just 30 years ago. Remember 1989, how many governments would change, how many structures, political structures would change. Most probably you relate to your own culture as I relate to mine. So this is just to give more to give you thoughts on what to expect, and really to give you clear analysis, because we are not sure. We're not sure on what level this will operate, because Saturn will be invisible. And with this, his actions are secretive, not revealed to us, not evident. And who is Saturn? Saturn is what is known as the biggest power in the society, the governments, the highest structures in the society, Pluto as well, but Pluto is related to more totalitarian actions. So I'm giving you thought with this to think, and in the meantime, let's look ascendant per ascendant, and I will just be very brief, really give you 2-3 words of what could possibly mean for us this conjunction. But it certainly can also, depending on the level of consciousness of the person, it can certainly be something good and transformative in a very good way, like leading to higher level of consciousness and vibrations. And keep in mind, everything which happens is product and decision and permission of the creator, of the universe, of God. So it can't be bad after all. It's just another cycle. We go through cycles, and how we react, how emotionally we perceive them, it is the most important thing. Actually, it is our responsibility on how we react, and how this affects or afflicts our connection with the spirit world and God. It could be something very good. Let's see. So let's start with the sign of the ascendant Aries. If you have Sidereal Aries Ascendant, and the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto is happening then on your 9th house, and actually Jupiter being there, this can be very deep in relation to knowledge, studies, spiritual awareness. So could be that you go through such very good and very deep and very good for your soul change and transformation and awareness. So this could be interesting and good for you. And certainly, since this is trine in your ascendant, can be also very practical. It could be that you benefit from the practicalities and yes, mainly the practicalities of this conjunction in a very good sense. However, on mundane level, it's a different story. We may see events happening. So I see this for ascendant Aries as something that can be very practical and very useful even. For ascendant Taurus, this is happening on your 8th house. And actually, this can also be at that very moment of the exact moment of the conjunction. Your ascendant ruler will be aspecting your ascendant, and this is helping hand enormously. And also, interestingly, this is happening, the conjunction Saturn Pluto is happening on your 8th house, which is not directly influencing you, but can influence certainly your spiritual, esoteric, occultistic work. Your interest in the secret sciences can lead to interesting development with the finances of your partner, or some hidden development in relation to finances, like unpredicted development in relation to finances of your partner and also of yourself. In any case, Venus will be there to save you and to give you a very good helping hand. So for you, I also don't see this as a dramatic conjunction Saturn Pluto for Ascendant Taurus. And now I'm looking at Ascendant Gemini and how the Saturn Pluto conjunction will influence you. For you, this is happening on your descendant. Jupiter is helping, giving a helping hand, and Venus is trining your ascendant to give you another helping hand. However, this can influence in a bit tense and not very easy way your relationship romantically and also in general. Could be also that during this period you just need to be a little bit cautious, use your intuition when undertaking important decisions or steps. However, Venus is trining your ascendant during this timing and she will give you a helping hand, and Jupiter is also on your descendant also to give a helping hand. So yes, could be a period of tension, but also it will be short. And then we're having Cancer Ascendant, and we're looking at how the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto will influence you. Now, this is for you happening on your 6th house, which can influence your routine, daily life, your relationship with subordinates. And there you need to be a bit careful, just careful during this period of like when, of about a week or two, because can create hostile environment, can create enemies, and it's a period when you may need to be responsible for your health. However, this will pass, and Jupiter is there to give a helping hand, so there is always some help from the universe for each one of us, but still it's good to keep in mind that not to trust your subordinates, your colleagues, and to be especially careful in relation to your job, and careful with your health. Okay, this was for Cancer, but this is now, don't worry, because this is just not a very long moment, and Jupiter is there to give you helping hand, but don't trust too much people that you work with and people that you share your routine with. And now we're looking at Leo. For you, this is happening on your 5th house, and with this, luckily the 5th house is the house of the good fortune, so I hope this is softening to a degree, this conjunction Saturn-Pluto. Be a bit attentive towards children. I know I've been repeating this for quite some time. This could a little bit limit your incomes shortly, like you may see that this period of 1-2 weeks is not so lucky, but this is temporary. Then Saturn will move, and Jupiter is giving helping hand in this very moment, and then also at the same time Venus is on your 7th house also to give you helping hand. However, you may experience some slowdown with incomes, but you may experience increase in desire to study ancient cultures, ancient studies, which is good. So the higher your vibration is, the more you connect yourself with the spiritual world or with God, the better you experience this conjunction. So this was for just 2 words for Leo. I will tell you also about Virgo. Now for you, this is happening on your 4th house, Virgo Ascendant. And for you, this Jupiter is there to be very, very helpful. But still, Saturn-Pluto conjunction can influence for good your interest in esoterics, in history, ancient, secret sciences. Can also influence a little bit your your home, like the home environment can become a little bit disharmonious. Also, the environment at your work, your career place. So be very diplomatic, be very intuitive. This is a possibility. On the other hand, Venus is also making aspect, so this is positive, and Jupiter is giving a helping hand. So it is not going to be a dramatic, but still it is a conjunction to consider and to be cautious during this period, like especially when communicating with superiors at work, career-wise, and also especially when you at home. Just be patient, and when there is a small disharmony, you know where it comes from, and then your intuition, your connection with the spirit world will help, and the presence of Jupiter, of course, technically. And then we are looking at Libra Ascendant. For you, this is happening on your 3rd house, and at the very same time, Venus is aspecting your ascendant, aspecting your descendant. Jupiter is giving helping hand, so this is good. On the 3rd house, this can increase, of course, your desire to study, to investigate, to your interest into esoterics, hidden sciences, ancient secrets, ancient histories, and this is all very, very good. Venus, as I said, is helping. A spiritual approach here, of course, is very, very important, so that you don't allow any bad energies from this conjunction to take place in your life. Could be that this affects a little bit your relationship with siblings, and there you need to be loving, patient, intuitive. Could be that also your travels and your communication and your trade is a little bit affected during this time, but happening on the 3rd house is good, because then you can concentrate your energies on ancient studies or ancient languages or deep investigation of occultism and esoteric knowledges, or creating beautiful things, because Venus is making beautiful aspect at that time to give you a helping hand. And now let's look at Scorpio Ascendant. Now for you, this is happening on your 2nd house, and could be that this creates, at that moment, Venus is helping your home. Your ascendant ruler is on your ascendant, so this is fine. But at this very moment, this can create some disharmonies and tension with family roots, with those distant family members. Or can be that the way you make money, the money environment becomes a little bit disharmonious, and there you may need to put some structure into. Could be also that this results in some issues with partner, with your relationship, but this is short. Venus is helping your home, so you have where to lean on. You have really the helping hand of the universe. So in any case, a structured, good organization, spiritual approach will be very important. And this moment will pass. It's not such a big deal. And now we're looking at Sagittarius Ascendant. For you, conjunction Saturn Pluto is happening on your ascendant, but Jupiter is there to give a helping hand. Venus is on your 3rd house to aspect the ascendant and give a helping hand. So yes, you may experience moments of disharmonies, hostilities in many areas of your life. Depends how exactly Saturn and Pluto are placed in your natal charts, but remember, Venus is helping, Jupiter is helping, so you will survive this moment for good, and especially if you're very spiritual, very connected with the spirit world, if you are into studies of the occult, of the ancient history, ancient studies, this can be actually a very wonderful conjunction. So this was for Sagittarius Ascendant, and now we're having Capricorn Ascendant. And this conjunction Saturn-Pluto for you is happening in the sign of Sagittarius in your 12th house. But Saturn and Pluto are actually in the very last degrees of your 12th house, so they're quite much influencing also your Ascendant. And of course, Saturn is your Ascendant, invisible, with Pluto. Well, this is very interesting, and can lead to some melancholy, a little bit need that you take care of your health, some rise of hidden enemies that you need to deal with. But this will pass, but these are the possibilities. This is not endangering you financially, because Venus is on your 2nd house, Jupiter is on your ascendant is somehow also surrounded by Jupiter and Venus on both sides, and they're giving you a helping hand. So even if there is an issue with enemies or with health, this will be temporary, and you will, in the end of the period, you will be okay. And now we're having Aquarius Ascendant, and for you, this conjunction Saturn-Pluto is happening on your 11th house. And yes, this can create issues with the social circle, can create issues with friends, also some financial like setback or issues that you need to deal with. This is a possibility. Well, Jupiter is there to help. Venus is on your ascendant to help and give a helping hand. So yes, some temporary struggles are possible, but on the other hand, you have the helping hands of the most beautiful planet. So you will survive this period for good, that's for sure. But some setback in the finances or in a relationship with friends and your social environment, there you may struggle a little bit. Also be attentive with children. And now we have in Pisces Ascendant. Now for you, this is happening on your 10th house. Jupiter is there, your Ascendant ruler, to be very helpful. But still, this is your 10th house. Some tension, some temporary issues career-wise at your work. So this is a possibility. Yes. So some temporary career issues and disharmonies are possible, but due to the presence of Jupiter, this all will be softened and helped enormously. So just to complete this particular conjunction Saturn-Pluto depends also really on our level of consciousness, on our connection with God and the spirit world. And this is just another conjunction which is taking place. And later on, when Saturn will be in his own place and Jupiter powerful and visible in his own place, there will be some justice in the world in general, and many things will change, and even the world will change, and hopefully for good. So thank you for your attention. See you soon.